Imagine the Martians finally showed up with their funny sounds and their ray guns and their costumes and with their vastly superior weapons and said before their great takeover to you, your beliefs are stupid superstitions. You have to stop believing that stuff and accept our way of organizing, dressing, speaking, food producing, relationship to the land. Your way of connecting your spiritual world to your ways of organizing, dressing, speaking, etc. are the work of a devil punishable by death. Got it? All this, by the way, when your ways had sustained you and yours for tens of thousands of years. The Martians, on the other hand, have about 1,500 years under their blood-soaked belts, and any fool can read the signs. Another 600 would be the outside limit of their survival. If you knew your history, you might be forgiven for thinking that these particular Martians were just one sect of many Martians, forever doing unto each other what they're going to do to you. If you didn't know your history, most of us don't, how would you feel about this takeover? Someone does say, well, the Martians paid for the land. But they can't, you say. We live here. Yes, they say. So now you're trespassing. You owe rent. You can't shoot that animal. It belongs to the Duttons. This is a wee prelude to some thinkings I have to do, some explorations I have to do on the 1619 Project, which I haven't read fully yet. But I hear there's a great hue and cry from the Martians about how things went down back then. In fact, the Martians have made a great story of their arrival. Why, they were discovering, parentheses, no, not the original discovery, dang it. I have the solution. Let's call these original inhabitants animals. Yeah, see, we discovered it. No, we did. So they argued. As far as I know, the Martians are arguing still, end parenthesis. They brought us so much progress and freedom to the country, they say, and there was much confusion about what these words actually meant, even among some Martians, because the Martians, you see, have developed a superior way of war. And I guess, therefore, they imagined everything else about their civilization was better. Stealing land and insisting the people living there accept the Martian Lord, capital L, and the Martian Lord, small l, and the Martian way of living as if, the rest of us were children. And then to work as slaves for the Martian Lord, small l, was better than what? So we celebrate progress and freedom. The 1619 Project is said to be full of inaccuracies. But the sayers of this are generally descendants of the Martians, who told some serious stories about their founding of the country that are pretty weird, to say the least, pretty inaccurate. So I would question their judgment of history from the get-go. We might need to ask someone from Venus to get a straight picture. But in the meantime, whatever is inaccurate about the 1619ers might just be largely in the heart and eye of the Martian reader. And those Martians, they read funny. They draw some funny conclusions. And sad to say, many of the critics of the 1619 Project have not read all of it either. They run into the objectionable passages early. There's a claim that the US was founded primarily as a slave state. No, the Martians say. Free state, free, with lots of freedom. Sorry, guys, founded as slave state. This is what state founding was for in those days. The best way for the founders to do what was good for the founders, to make money. And money is made by superior people exploiting the childish people. This is a Martian absolute. Fashions have changed. Somebody looked up freedom in a dictionary. Some Martians, so the Martians have had to change their story, if not their behaviors. And when they are caught out in the hypocrisy, they will say, well, the Plutonians did it, and the Saturnalians did it too. Okay. They're all Martians. And you beat them, didn't you? with your superior guns and propaganda. Oh, and they got caught out exterminating, didn't they? While you were only discovering and liberating, freeing people of their lives. Anyway, they were just another Martian sect. Yes, they were bad too, but not as bad as you. You are the baddest, and by your own definings, you are the worst for comparing yourself to them, so don't. They had the option, but apparently their God said it was okay. And the Martians, anyway, have always had slaves for thousands of years back on Mars, where good Martians were singled out and made into kings by the Martian God. With subjects and slaves, the whole gamut of hierarchies now simply imposed upon the new land, who are bloody lucky for it, let me tell you. No more running around naked with bows and arrows. Take this, Uzi. Let's leave the Martians and metaphor where they belong, in mothballs ready for Halloween. Sufficient to say that if I want reflections on anything as critical as the 1619 Project, I'd be very wary who I asked. And yes, believe it or not, there are others than Martians to ask, including me, so I will ask myself and look at the 1619 notion. I was surprised it was on a New York Times project initially. They are usually clever enough not to promote anything that challenges the elite consensus. The Times may have a basic critical faculty in the room, in the corner, dark corner somewhere, but they are selling and naturally please their buyers. What are the slogans? All the news that's fit to print. The truth is worth it. Worth what? The amount its readers can pay? I don't read any newspaper anymore. I used to read the Pittsburgh Gazette for the Pirates scores. I do not seek the truth in newspapers. There I seek those who share my opinions and worldview. They are still Martians, so I don't trust them for the truth. They have lied too much in the past, and their slogans speak volumes. Any mouthpiece that pronounces that which used to be the provenance of religion, defining evil as something only some of us perform, only some of us are susceptible to, are a branch of the church and should go back. So that would be the Nation, any old Times, Washington Times, London Times, New York Times, Times Literary Supplement, The Guardian, etc. James O'Brien has a book out. They broke Britain. They. Not me. Somebody said the other day that the White Russians nearly beat the Bolsheviks way back then. Apparently they did. There was more money, foreign money invested in the White Russian cause than has ever been invested by foreign countries in another foreign country, ever. But they lost. Oh gosh. Then we could have gone back to lovely old Tsarism, says the Martian. We could be us again, not them. I thought from conversations, protestations, and some books that the church would be a place of universal love. Well, J.D. Vance has proved me wrong, backed up by Pope Urban II in 1095. Sentiments that'd make Zionists blush. Have a little listen. On this account, I think he's Italian, I, or rather the Lord, beseech you as Christ's heralds to publish this everywhere and to persuade all people of whatever rank, foot soldiers and knights, poor and rich, to carry aid promptly to those Christians and to destroy that vile race from the lands of our friends. I say this to those who are present. It's meant also for those who are absent. Moreover, Christ commands it. All who die by the way, whether by land or by sea, or in battle against the pagans, shall have immediate remission of sins. This I grant them through the power of God with which I am invested. Oh, what a disgrace if such a despised and base race which worships demons should conquer a people which has the faith of omnipotent God and is made glorious with the name of Christ. With what reproaches will the Lord overwhelm us if you do not aid those who with us profess the Lord, when he may wish to speak to them, find them putrefied by their sins, unsalted and stinking? For if he shall find worms, that is, sins in them, because you have been negligent in your duty, he will command them as worthless to be thrown into the abyss of unclean things. And because you cannot restore to him his great loss, he will surely condemn you and drive you from his loving presence. But the man who applies this salt should be prudent, provident, modest, learned, peaceable, watchful, pious, just, equitable, and pure. For how can the ignorant teach others? How can the licentious make others modest? And how can the impure make others pure? If anyone hates peace, how can he make others peaceable? End quote. Gods. Give me Ares and Zeus any day. Phew, yuck. Yeah, and there's more. Much more. That's about a third. You should read it. I really recommend. And when you're at it, read Thomas Jefferson's St. Olaf essay on Africans. Mind-blowing. I am surprised or not at the echoes of Deuteronomy. He's saying that, if you refuse this divine license to kill, I'm coming for you too. Very Martian, small Martian, but they tend small. Just ordered the 1619 project. I'll let you know. P.S. I write as a pagan Celt. I don't even caucus with Martians anymore.